I'm Melvin Brooks. I've come to stop the show. Just a ham whose minus looks, but in your hearts I'll grow. I'll tell you gags, I'll sing you songs, have a little snappy tunes to roll along. I'm out of my mind, so won't you be kind and please love Melvin Brooks.
An audience with Mel Brooks.
All right, tape costs money. Making a fool out of it. I don't know how to thank you for coming here, so no thanks. Ladies and Jews, when I was a child, this show is a partnership, very much like a marriage. It's teamwork, and like a marriage, I'm sure it's going to fall apart. I know. I know. But it depends as much on you people. It depends as much on the audience as it is on the performer up here. Now, a lot of you in the audience are terrific performers yourselves. You understand this. A lot of you think you're performers. You stink. But I'm going to point out. I'm not going to make trouble there tonight. But anyway, this is an ad-lib, silly, spontaneous show. And because it is that, I am going to get crazy questions from anybody who wants to ask questions, and I want this to be silly and foolish and relaxed and ad-lib, and so not take any mistakes. I want the first question. I want the first question to be exactly this. Mr. Brooks, because you are talented and powerful, captain, and you can have your way with anything, men, women, in-betweens, whatever you want. Sexually, what do you really prefer, men or women? Now,
ask you that question.
Yes, please ask.
Here, Mr. Brooks, as a powerful and talented tap dancer, and you're extremely sexual, what do you prefer, men or women?
That's none of your bloody business. You got some big mouth. Do we have a question?
Were you a very precocious child?
The answer is no. Sit down.
What do you say to people who accuse you of bad taste?
I say up yours.
I was going to ask you, Miss Brooks, if you've ever done anything that you were thoroughly ashamed of. But I think you just told us.
I was really ashamed of myself. I went into Woolworths with Mush, and we never had money, so we would always steal something, like a little yo-yo or a toy of some kind. This day, I stole a little tiny toy pistol, a toy gun. And I nearly got away with it. I was walking out the store, and I said, "Hey, you!" No, it wasn't "Hey, you." It was in America. It was, "Hey, you! Hey, you, kid, come back here. I saw you take that toy gun." I didn't know what to do. I was petrified. I swear to God. So I pulled out this little toy gun and said, "Stand back, I'll blow your head off." And he did. He stood back, and we ran out of the store. Right? It was wonderful. It's true story. Thank you.
I want to know, what did your mother think about Blazing Saddles, please?
Yes, well, that's ticklish. That's a ticklish question. Actually, my mother was very happy with it. When she saw the rough cut, she said, "It's wonderful." Melvin, she said, Melvin. She always called me Melvin, M-E-L-B-M-N. She named me M-E-L-V-I-N. Why should she call me L-B-M-N, Melvin? She said, "Melvin, it should only make $1 million. I said, "Mom, if it does, we're finished. It costs $2 Anyway, she was tickled. Thank you for that question. Is Gordon Jackson in the audience or isn't he?
Sir.
Gordon, yes.
Mr. Brooks,
In Upstairs, Downstairs, did you play Hudson, yes or no?
Yes!
When you first came in here, did you want to wear that jacket? No. When you sat next to that woman in the pink, did you want... Haven't you lied when you said... Did you lie when you walked in? Are you not?
That's no woman, that's my wife.
Liar!
Sir,
Zug away, Gordon. Question.
is it true that you were a war hero?
False. I'll tell you about my war experiences. After they found me in Canada, I immediately enlisted, not to serve time. And I spent some time in the army, and I rose to the rank of corporal. Yes. Corporal ain't bad. Hitler was a corporal, Napoleon was a corporal. Short guys, they make corporals. What do you want from me? I became a corporal. And one day, I was leading my men back toward where we lived. And we stumbled upon a case of German Mauser rifles. Everything I tell you here is true. I mean, embroider it, it's all true. Sharp-shooting rifles. And we opened the case, wiped the grease off. There was ammunition. There was white ceramic insulators all over this telephone pole. And we all bet a couple of bucks. The one who could knock off with these things won the pool of money. So we all shot at it, and some tall Gentile from Arkansas won. All we know is that the gun goes, when you pull the trigger, that thing hits you in the shoulder. We knocked off all the insulators. We blew them to hell. And then we got back in our command car. We drove back to headquarters, and they were up in arms. We were all running around. What happened? What happened? The Germans have cut off communication between the 7th Army and our unit. How? What? Well, they broke the telephone wires. I said, "Oh my God!" They said, "We need a unit. The Germans must be in the area." And I said, "I'm volunteering my men to go out there and find those krauts, and if necessary, kill them and stop this loss of communication." I want a Bronze Star for that. I'm doing that. That's the American Army. That's a true story. And after that, I became, when the war was over, I got into special services, doing shows and arranging for things. I became a procurement officer. In the States, we call them pimps. It was a good job.
But what I would like to ask you, before I do, I just want to say thank you for having us here this evening, because we're having a terrific time.
My pleasure.
Is how did you start in show business?
How did I get into show business? I could tell you many stories. I could tell you lies. I could tell you truth. Ever since I was that high, I always wanted to be something. I always wanted to make noise. I became a drummer because it was the loudest instrument in the band. I actually got at the show because there was a guy in my neighborhood by the name of Don Appel. He was an actor on Broadway. But anyway, he was an actor, and I was a kid in the neighborhood in Williamsburg, and he was a real actor. He went to the theater at night. My God, I used to trail him. I was like haunting him. And finally, he got me a job in the Borscht Belt. Now, he was a comedian. He started in the Borscht Belt, which is, you understand, but for those of you of some exotic persuasion, like Catholic, might not understand what the Borscht Belt is. The Borscht Belt is a euphemism for a place. Hey, blow it out. Shut up, will you, when I'm talking? We'll be working this afternoon. The Borscht Belt is a place in the Jewish Catskills right outside of New York City. And Jews go there to bask in the sunshine, to get away from the heat of the city, to swim in swimming pools, and mainly eat sour cream. I think that's their main avocation there. And I used to entertain them around the pool. I was called a pool tumbler. After lunch, they would, after they go around the pool, they'd sit there, and they would try to, get rid of 14.5 pounds of sour cream, And I would tell them little jokes. I'd have a derby, I'd have an alpaca coat, I'd walk around, and I'd end up by jumping off the diving board with 2 cardboard suitcases filled with rocks with a derby with an alpaca, and I would jump in and sink to the bottom, and as I jumped, I'd say, "Business stinks, I don't want to live." And I jump. And they'd go, well, take their mind off their own stupid business, right? But we always had a Gentile lifeguard. There's the only one who could swim. Not one of these blind guys, Bob was the craziest name you could think. Morty, Morris, anything with an M worked. But Bob was really exotic. Anyway, Bob would take it into his head not to save me sometimes. He wouldn't dive down. And I nearly drowned a couple times, I swear. An alpaca coat filled with water, think of it, rocks, trying to get my props up from underwater. I'd seen the Jews laughing through the ripples. A lot of Jews died in the mountains, I must tell you. I told Alan Yentop this story, but I'll tell you. A lot of Jews died in the mountains, and mostly from trying to sing. Dancing in the dark after eating too much sauerkraut. It's true. C'est vrai. C'est la vérité. They would eat gallons of sour cream, vegetables, gassy stuff. They'd go on a rocking chair. And they would start to sing Dancing in the Dark. You can't sing Dancing in the Dark unless you start very low. Even Crosby, I'll give you, this is Crosby's, Errol, pay attention. This is Crosby's rendition of Dancing in the Dark. And I'm singing it low. Dancing in the dark, till the tune ends. We're waltzing, and it soon ends. And we can face the music together. Dancing, yes, we're dancing in the dark. That's Crosby, 1928. That's Crosby. I started real low. Here's the way the Jews started after lunch. Dancing in the dark. Till the tune ends. We're all singing. And it soon ends. And we can face the music together. I am probably the only Jew who made $1 out of Hitler. Yes. Everybody is suffering, but I got eat. Anyway, it's been my job for the last, ever since I was a kid, to somehow shoot down the Third Reich. And in my newest and latest film, To Be or Not to Be, I'll show you a little clip from that film right now, in which, once again, I am playing that person. Film, please. Cut to film. I don't want war. All I want is peace. 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 A little piece of Poland, a little piece of France, a little piece of Portugal, and Austria perchance. A a turkey, and all that entails. And then a piece of England's got the dialing and bells. I would adore. This is all true. Everything I tell you is true. The very funny things are not true. You can't get lucky. You know, you gotta make a living. But the near truths, you know, and then the mezza funny, they're almost true. I can't really sing more for you because I'm getting paid very little to do this show. This is a big, I'm only doing it for the film clips, I swear to God. But I want to tell you, this if I were encouraged, if the producers could find it in their hearts to come up with a few quid, I'd be glad to sing more on the show. But, there's only one animal that throws a scent. I used to do that. That was my, never mind, it's real. All right, what do you want to hear? Listen, since I started doing the little Crosby, there are some favorite songs of mine. I'll sing one of them. They are from the road pictures, the road to Rio, the road to Singapore. One from the road to Morocco, I believe, written by Jimmy Van Heusen and Johnny Burke. It's a beautiful song, sung by Crosby, and it is called Moonlight Becomes You. All right, are you ready for this? Moonlight becomes you. It goes with your hand. You certainly know right things to wear. Moonlight becomes you. I'm thrilled to the side, and I could get so romantic tonight. You're all dressed up to go dreaming. Hey, don't tell me I'm wrong. Oh, what a night to go dreaming. Mind if I tag along? If I say I love you, I want you to know it's not just because there's moonlight, although moonlight becomes you so. Harry, you came here tonight. Harry, I'm sorry, you're not Harry. What a wonderful audience. I'm so glad you came here. This is terrific. I'm sorry, madam, you're too old. You'll have to go. You're too old. Forget the hell out of here. Sit down. I was just I am kind. Only here by a thread. You're old too. You're all dressed up to go dreaming. Don't tell me I'm wrong. And what a night to go dreaming. Mind if I tag along? Can't change if I say I love you. I want you to know it's not just because there's moonlight, although moonlight becomes you so. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean it too often, show. I was just making a joke. It's just we have a way of doing that. Then we apologize for years later for those things. Please forgive me. You, sir, are too old for the show. You're a very, very good audience. Really, I'm very proud of you. I love you. All right, let me know when we're rolling, please. Are we all rolling? All right. It's difficult for me to continue with the show. I have a problem. It's very difficult. It's a private problem. I'll have to share it with you. I cannot go on really concentrating on the show until I do lose something here. Forgive me. Excuse me, darling. What's your name? Well, there are two problems here. Would you please wear that shawl? Just drape it over yourself like a sweet little Indian good. Yeah. All right. Now, thank you, darling. I mean, it's very hard to see. You get a stigmatism looking at that. You know what I mean? Very, very healthy girl. I like to see healthy people. I was getting very excited, I'll tell you the truth. Two restaurants I go in, I can't get my name. I can never get my own name. Chinese restaurant, Mr. Millbrook. Mr. Millbrook. One name, Millbrook. French, Monsieur Millbrook. Millbrook. Venez ici, Monsieur Millbrook. Nous avons table pour vous tout le temps, Monsieur. Millbrook. If I call up and say, this is Mr. Brooks, I'd like a reservation. No. If I say, Millbrook ici, come in. Millbrook. So I may change my name to Irving Millbrook. Just for French restaurants and Chinese restaurants. Otherwise, I'm okay. I love this country. You have given America a lot. I mean, first of all, you sent over the Mayflower so we could start the country. You know what I mean? And the English, the newscasters here. I don't know how you know what's going on in the world. In the North Country, the isobars tell us, is it raining or ain't it raining? What's with the isobars? The 20 degree, but you don't even get your degrees right now. But yesterday, in the Gulf of Aqaba, an Iranian tanker almost collided with a Kuwaiti vessel. Fortunately, they missed each other and no one was injured. It's English news. That's the English news. In America, the same broadcast in America. Two wacky Arab ships nearly hit head-on. Unfortunately, nobody was hurt. I know. I love England. I love it to distraction. But the crowning jewel of English culture is, let's face it, is William Shakespeare, the bard himself. He is probably the greatest, most thrilling human writer that ever lived. I will ever be grateful for England giving us William Cohen Shakespeare. You didn't know that, did you? You didn't know his middle name was Cohen, did you? Well, you learn everything. Gotta pay attention. I don't mean his work, I mean his penmanship. Perfect. He was the best. Shakespeare was the best. In my movie, I'm proud to announce that I actually do Hamlet's soliloquy. Yes, I do.
Mr. Brooks, I was just wondering what sort of qualifications you thought you had for playing the part of...
What do you mean qualifications? What are you talking qualifications? You don't think Americans can play Shakespeare?
No,
you don't think we should do it? We can do Hamlet, do you? What about Edwin Booth's Hamlet, eh? John Barrymore's Hamlet. Mickey Rooney's Hamlet. Plenty big Hamlets in America, lady.
Well, Mr. Brooks,
And
there's some
I'm
great
not the least-
Hamlets sitting here in this audience tonight. Some of
You
the
do?
great Hamlets of the English stage.
You got a Hamlet here tonight?
I've got a few Hamlets here tonight
Well,
for you.
All right, Helen. I'll wager a $5 that, putting it on the outside. I'll wager a $5 that I can, whoever you got here, that my Hamlet, I have a film clip here of me doing Hamlet. But my Hamlet is better. We'll let the audience judge. They're English people. They have, naturally, they're going to side with the English, but my Hamlet is so terrific. I'll bet on them. I'll bet on them betting on me.
You can't do it
Hamlet.
live.
Who have you got here?
Jonathan Pryce.
Jonathan Pryce, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys? All right, Jonathan, I will make it very simple. First of all, where did you get your sandals? Oh, never mind. I know you have a tonsure and sandals because you're playing Martin Luther for the BBC. We're wagering £5 you will do a little bit, not so viel, not too much, of Hamlet's famous soliloquy, "Wherefore art thou?" And I will, no, I know. I even know it in French. Être ne pas être. I know it everywhere. But we're going to do to be or not to be. You're going to do a little soliloquy, and then I will show my film clip, and the audience will judge who does the superior Hamlet. Jonathan.
To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against the sea of troubles, and by opposing, end them. To die. To sleep. No more.
No more. All right. Do we have the film clip ready? Is it ready? Is it right up there? All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Mel Brooks, as in To Be or Not to Be, as Frederick Bronsky doing his impression of Hamlet. To be or not to be? Or not?
Excuse me.
That
Excuse me.
is the question.
Pardon me.
Question.
Pardon me.
Whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hold my hand over Jonathan's head, hold my hand on my own head, and we'll see which Hamlet you prefer. First, Jonathan Pryce. Shut up! Shut up! It's enough. We got it. We understand. We get it. Yeah, give her the £5. Take a pound for yourself. Go ahead. You're very good, Jonathan. I don't care what they say. That's wonderful. Thank you for coming. Well, you know, drama is really not my field. I'm really a comedy writer. I started as a comedy writer. I began writing in the 50s for a wonderful comedian by the name of Sid Caesar. We had, thanks. Sid Caesar was a great comic. Still is a great comic. In History of the World, he played the caveman. He was wonderful. He had a great writing staff. A lot of you may not know that the writing staff of the shows consisted of people like Mel Tolkien, Lucille Callan, Tony Webster, Woody Allen, Neil Simon, myself, Larry Gelbart, who created MASH. He had a sensational writing staff. Sid Caesar was powerful. We were all afraid of him. I mean, strong. Muscles. Strength. Woody would sit behind a desk. Sid didn't like a joke. He'd pick up the desk and Woody and the type, everything. He'd say, punctuate his anger, "I don't like that joke." Woody would say, "We're not married to it." I went to Chicago with Sid Caesar. We were driving around Chicago. This is all true story. Cab driver, little leather bow tie, little yellow cab driver. Sid cuts him off driving. Cab driver gets out, curses things you've never heard, dirty language, filth. Strong, tough cab driver. Comes over to Sid. Sid opens this little clipper window to look at the cab driver. And the cab driver says, "You son of a bitch, you're poor, diamond, and tough." And Sid Caesar looks at him and he looks up. This is a true story. He looks up and says, "Excuse me. Do you remember being born? Do you remember your birth?" Cab driver says, "What are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about?" And Sid reaches out and grabs his leather bow tie and his collar and starts pulling him in this little window. Says, "We're going to reenact it right now." I swear to God, I had to bite his hand. He was very strong. One night in Chicago, this is a true story, you can read it in this book. I said, I can't stand there anymore. Let's go somewhere, let's hang out. So he said, you want to hang out? All right, he picked me up in the neck, he held me out the window of the bar, 18 floors up. He said, you like hanging out? I said, we don't have to hang out. On the Sid Caesar show was a man by the name of Howie Morris. And life is a series of calamities with Howie Morris. I can't tell you. The funniest thing that happened to Howie, his father died. Now, let me explain it. This is true. There was this funeral. They went up to the Bronx, he and his mother, and they had his father cremated, and everything was going well. Howie brought $200 to pay for the funeral expenses, and they said, he gave him $200. They said, I'm sorry, that'll be $340. He said, what are you talking about? It says in the thing, $200, it cremated and the whole thing. He said, no, the urn, sir, the marble alabaster urn is $100. So it is $300, not $200. So he says, I don't want him in the urn. I said, what would you have us do with him, sir? I don't care. Put him in a bag. We don't put the loved one in a paper bag, sir. We give the loved one in the urn. He said, I don't want the urn. He said, well, you'll have to get your own container, sir. So he said, okay, wait right here. He ran across the street. He bought a can of Maxwell House coffee. He opened it, he spilled out the coffee. He ran back. He said, put my father in here. All right, okay. All right, sir, all right. They took the ash, they took it out of the urn, they cleaned up the urn, they put it for somebody else. They put the urn back. They took the Maxwell House coffee. December, cold. Driving. Howie's father's last wishes. You go. Last wishes. Throw my ashes in the Hudson River. Well, it's hard to do. It's hard to throw your ashes in the Hudson River because it's blowing all over. It's cold. It's December. They drive down a little yellow Studebaker. They pull over to a place where you can pull out. They start climbing. Mother and he start climbing down the banks from the highway to the Hudson River. It's impossible. You're not supposed to do that. The police don't let you. They're climbing through brambles, through things. They're getting down the front. She's wearing a cape. He's wearing a dark blue coat with a belt in the back. They're carrying his father's ashes in a Maxwell House coffee can. And Howie, with tears in his eyes, very dramatic guy, he says, oh, he gets to the bank near the water. He's afraid of falling. He gets to and he says, oh, God bless you, Dad. Rest in peace. And he throws the ashes up in the air, and they all land back in his coat. And he keeps saying, good luck and blood and God. Couldn't get his father out of his coat. I said, so Howie, what was your father's final resting place? He said, Rand Cleaners on Columbus Avenue. In 1952, there was a wonderful show on Broadway, a wonderful review. It was called New Faces of 1952. And it starred, among other creatures, Eartha Kitt, Robert Clary, Carol Lawrence, June Carroll, Paul Lynde, and last and least, one of the people I've fallen madly in love and been in love with for a very long time, since 1952, when we both worked on New Faces of 52. A very dear friend of mine. His name is Ronny Graham. Ronny Graham is remarkable. He really is. He is a very talented guy. When in 52 I first met him, he had dark hair, he looked like a handsome gargoyle. He was beautiful. And it's a pity to see that time has taken him into an alley and beat the shit out of him. I don't know what happened. But anyway, he's hard to look at too. We wrote a piece that we couldn't sell anywhere. We still can't sell it. I swear to God. We tried reviews, we tried television specials, we tried networks, nobody wanted this little review item that Ronny and I wrote. It's called Retreat. It is an ode to cowardice. We would like to do... Ronny, get to the piano. We'd like to do Retreat for you, okay? Ronny's a wonderful guy. I don't care what they say. All right, I'll stand next to you because it's been a long time and our eyes are gone as well as our minds. Alzheimer's. Yeah. Oh, this is a nice accordion. Oh, Alzheimer's. Here we go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. We'll take it from an officer of France.
Right.
Watch this. An officer of France am I. My rank is general. And if you ask me how I feel, I'll tell you I feel mal.
Mal de tête?
Nah.
Mal de mer?
No.
Mal de what?
Mal de gay. I'm sick of war for many reasons. 3 of them will do. It's 1815. I am French, and this is Waterloo. To arms, soldiers of France. Lift up your lance, pick up your pants, the battle's begun. To arms, heroes of gold. This is no stall, get on the ball, the battle's begun. The enemy's advancing with murder in his eye. Our way, I think he's glancing. For us, it's do or die. I don't mind the do part. Die? Why? Listen, folks, I have a very good idea. Retreat, drop your swords, run. A foe is near, our choice is clear. Get out of here, hooray for fear, we're done. Run away, run away. If you run away, you live to run away another day. Retreat, retreat, give your feet a chance. I got big news for all of you. You gotta lose, so move your shoes to France. Face defeat, be discreet, and retreat. Show me a man with deep red blood in his veins. If he got brains, he'll keep that blood in his veins. Show me a man who doesn't know the meaning of fear. Show me a horse, and I'll disappear. Show me a man who loves the smell of a fight. Right. Show me the man who scorns the coward in flight. Show me a man who loves the feel of steel in his gut. Show me that man, I'll show you a nut. What am I saying? What am I talking? What am I doing? How can I talk like this? How can I forget my love, France? My eyes get wet for La Belle France. Children playing hide and seek besides a little saying, children, dentists pulling out French teeth with very little pain. All right tonight. Every night I dream of Belle France. Take my Lawson team, but don't take France. I would, for her glory, I would die. I would cheat and rob and spy. But I'll be damned if I'm gonna die. France. Here they come, they're breaking through. What do we do? What do we do? Retreat! Give your feet a chance! I got big news for all of you. We gotta lose some move our shoes for France. Face defeat, beat the street. This is it. Time to quit. Backward feet and retreat. At the end of the show of shows, when we'd finish a show, it was an hour-and-a-half show live, not tape, live. Sid Caesar once came out dressed wrong for the sketch. They dressed him wrong, dressed him wrong. It was a live show. They put him in a Roman emperor's cape with gold sandals, very much like Jonathan Pryce. And he came out, and it's a meeting of the board of a bank. Right? Which is the next sketch. nervous, but the dresser was nervous. And since he comes out with the cape with the gold thing, and he walks into his boardroom, and he said, I just came from a costume party. It's a true story. He was dying. Oh, those days, I mean, you used to keep your fingers crossed. You never knew. Somebody said a dirty word, that was it. It was on the air. Couldn't cut out anything. Oh, we used to stay in that little green room. After the show, we would often go to a place called Danny's Hideaway in New York, and we would celebrate and have drinks and have a private room. And Carl and I, at that one night at Carl Reiner, who was the second banana. Now, Carl was used to interviewing, so we used to go to these parties, and Carl would interview me. I never knew what was going to happen. I never knew. I hurt myself a little bit then. A little bit. It hurts. I knew I'd hurt. I knew I couldn't do it just right. So, Carl would walk over to me. This is in the 50s, first tape recording. Walk over to tape recording and say, ladies and gentlemen, the man next to me is 2,000 years old. Sir, how did you live? And he would show a mic, and that's how the 2,000-year-old man, a record, a very round record is called around there. We had a lot of fun. And then somebody said, please make a record, these ad-lib sessions. We did it. Now, the producers of this show have asked me to bring my cape and my cane and my hat and maybe throw up a few questions out to the audience. Did I say throw up? I meant throw out. I'm sorry, Johnny. Johnny Gold, the owner of Tramps. Last night, I vomited on some very important people. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Who's that Indian woman? I'm very sorry. Did you get it cleaned up? Oh, thank you. Oh, it was your fault. Don't you have some Delamain? It's, who knows, it's a brandy. Delamain. I thought it was like a club soda or something. Have a little Delamain. Blah. Anyway, I brought my cape and my cane and my hat, and I'm going to throw the floor open to questions to the 2,000-year-old man. So if you'll follow me over here, I'm going to walk like Gene Kelly. Okay, that's how Gene Kelly. Here's a hat. Here's a cape. Not just because there's moonlight. See, already I'm Jewish. Moonlight becomes yourself. You're all dressed up to your dreaming. Hey, don't open your mouth and tell me I'm wrong. Oh, what a night to go dreaming. Mind if I take a Holly along? Hello. How are you? If you... I nearly hit the screen. And dust comes out. Moonlight becomes. All right, I'm the 2,000-year-old man, and I'm trotting up the floor for questions about my age and my way and who I am. Does anybody have a question that goes like this? Yes, sir. What's your name, sir?
Alfred Marks.
Alfred, you have a question?
Yes, I do indeed. The 2,000-year man fascinates me, and I can easily believe that you are 2,000 years old.
Yes.
I would like to know the secret of your longevity. How did you manage to live to 2,000 years? Seriously.
No, I'm going to give you a serious answer. The answer is garlic. Before I'll go to sleep late at night, I'll eat 1.5 pounds garlic. Raw garlic. I'll munch it up. Then about 4 in the morning, the angel of death rings my bell. Comes in, you can't keep him out. Comes over to the bed, he says, time to go. I say, who is it? And he's gone with him. I have another question, please. Yes.
I think Zsa Gabor would be very interested in this. And she would say to you, darling, I would like to know how many wives you have been married to, darling.
That's a good question and not a bad accent. I have had over 2,000 wives. Yes, married 2,000 wives. And I have over 46,000 children. Yes, and not one comes to visit me. That's children, that's who they are, that's what they are. What can I tell you? Leave them be, let them go. It's their business. I don't want to interfere. Child is a child, is a sacred thing, is a child. Questions?
Excuse me, did you know Robin Hood?
Knew him well. Ran around in the forest with him.
Was a nice chap.
He, you know this business of robbing from the rich, giving to the poor? Bullshit. I kicked that guy around. He took from everybody and he kept everything. He's a tough guy. A lot of married men ran around. You wouldn't want to meet them on a dark night in the forest, I'll tell you that. They went every way, you know what I mean? They didn't have women. It's like prison. They're living in trees like animals. I don't blame them. You have to forgive them. Yes, sir.
How did sport begin, like golf, for example?
Sport. Well, the early sports, you mean like Cesar Romero? I mean, what do you mean sport? Golf. What? What sport? What are you talking?
Golf.
Oh, game sports. I thought you mean like Tommy, man, you know, like guys. Games. Yes, golf. Golf, that's a good question. 2,000 years ago, our caveman would be sitting in his cave with his club by his side. You never know when a tiger will come in uninvited. Suddenly, watching television, a very primitive form of television, because it's cut out, the cave is cut out, and then whatever passes is the television. And suddenly, for no reason, a skunk comes in. Woof! Woof! Who wants a skunk? You go with your cave, with the club over to the skunk, and boom! Give him a shot, and the skunk goes away. If you hit him hard enough, he lands in somebody else's cave, you made a hole-in-one. That's our sports game. Any other questions? Yes, miss.
Excuse me, you must have met some wonderful people. Did you ever meet Queen Victoria?
What a guy. Tough as nails. She talk about a left and a right, and she had a lot of skirts on. You never know when that knee would come up. Ever look in the mirror? You ever make a hat face? You put on a face. Everybody looks in the mirror. My wife does this all the time. I love her for that. She has a regular face. Suddenly she puts on a hat. Her face is like this. She puts on a hat and suddenly. That's a hat face. I don't know what people do. Most people, they make a hat face.
I've heard that you're married to the most beautiful woman in the world. Is that true, Mr. Brooks?
No, I'm married to Anne Bancroft. My beautiful wife, my gorgeous wife, Anne Bancroft. My co-star. We are starring together in a major motion picture for the first time. Motion picture called To Be or Not to Be, which should be in your neighborhood theaters in about an hour and a half. It's called To Be or Not to Be. I play Frederick Bronsky. Anne plays my wife, Anna Bronsky. She is my wonderful, gorgeous, loyal, faithful wife. And here she is cheating on me with Tim Matheson, a Polish flyer. Can we have the film clip, please?
I believe that you really only fall in love once. And when you do, you should dedicate your whole life to that person.
Yes, we are totally agree. But on the other hand, I've always felt that true love should never stand in the way of a good time. How about you?
Well, I do like to have fun.
You do. What do you do for fun?
I fly a bomber.
That's fun.
Oh, yes, there's nothing like it. I climb into that cockpit, I strap myself in, and from the moment those engines start to rev up, I'm in another world. First they sputter, then they hum, then they thunder. The plane starts to move forward, taxiing down the runway slowly at first, then faster and faster, until the world becomes a blur, rushing by at incredible speed. My tail starts to rise, and now the roar of the engines becomes almost deafening. The plane begins to vibrate, pushing with all its might to break free of the earth, and then all of a sudden, I'm off the ground, thrusting upward into the sky, going higher and higher to see my bomber?
My wife is not saying any dirty words. Dziękuję, she's saying dziękuję, dziękuję. Dziękuję, it means thank you in Polish. As a matter of fact, in the picture, we are two famous, radiant Polish theater stars. Why don't we sing a little Polish for these? Yes, yes, yes. We're going to sing in Polish, just the way we do in the movie. Oh, come on. Let me get up there. Come on, folks, let's encourage them. Yeah. Don't worry, you can do it. I got cue cards. What are you worried about? Ladies and gentlemen, you'll remember it. It's not so important. It's just a TV show. It doesn't have to be good. They're not paying for this. All right, fix your belt.
Sweetheart, I really don't think I remember it.
All right. It's a pro.
Sweetheart, I really.
Jak się topić, to się topić. Sweet Georgie Brown. Dajca busa, Polish busa. Sweet Georgie Brown. Ja przez ciebie będę miebie. Sweet Georgie Brown. Mój los dobrze znasz. Ten co pewnie masz. Okej. Mój kolega mnie ostrzega. Ratuj się pan. U nas każdą panem ważnym. Ten co ma plan. Będzie biło serce twoje. Bliżej bracie zdrowie swoje. Georgie bije, Georgie żyje. Spiny, spiny, Georgie Brown. Masz, nasz, wasz, crash. Są pewnie masz, okej. Mój kolega mnie ostrzega, ratuj się